Hey, what is up guys, I'm Exteria. At the time of recording this video, there's about a couple of days left before the new patch, so I thought maybe I should teach you guys how to play one of the most powerful comps in the current meta, which is Zeri with Holobow. What makes Holobow so powerful is that in patch 14.2, they buff every stat that it has, but in general the item was already good for what it was, since the active allows you to gain infinite mana. The issue was, since it was an AP item, it just wasn't worth it to put on 80 unit until they buffed the other stat, which is attack speed and crit. These values are so beneficial for Zeri's damage output. It used to be Flux Capacitator was one of her best items, but then they nerfed attack speed by 5 more percent. So if you see the difference here, for Flux Capacitator, now it's 20% compared to Holobow. It was the old Flux Capacitator attack speed, which was 25. The conditions to play this comp is you need a bow. This is kind of mandatory because you have to make Gwinsu's Rage Blade for Zeri's core item. If you don't have Rage Blade on her, she cannot do enough damage for you to win games with. And the best way to play Zeri is unless you have a Holobow. If you don't have Holobow, you can play different styles with Flux Capacitator, which is decent. Basically meaning at worst, if you cap it, you can probably get a top 6. But if you have Hyper Fangs and the Exotech item pool, you might as well just play Vex Exotech instead because it's a powerful comp as well. If you want to check out how to play Vexotech, you can check out this video here. It'll be in the description below. For Zeri's items, you must build a Gwinsu's Rage Blade. If you don't, she cannot do any damage. This is a mandatory item to build. There's no other way around it. You just have to build this item. And then the Exotech items, which is one of her best here, is Holobow. The best items to combo with Holobow is either a post stabilizer or an IE. You need crit for this item to be active. If you don't have a crit item, there's just no way around it. But you can do a different trick instead. If you have Piercing Lotus, you can build either another Gwinsu's Rage Blade or a Giant Slayer. This allows you to gain crit and then activates the Holobow item itself. For those of you that don't know what Holobow does exactly, if you're able to crit on an auto attack, then you gain mana back for each crit you do. So that's the reason why you have to build a crit item no matter what. If you don't have Holobow, you can play Flux Capacitator. That's also fine as well. And then the third item could be a post stabilizer or Gwinsu's Rage Blade or a Giant Slayer or Death Blade is pretty high up there for win rate wise. And Hextech Gunblade is also decent. And then the last item you could probably play with Zeri. This isn't the best. I would say just play Vars from this angle, but if you don't have Vars and Vex items, you might as well just play Zeri instead then. The best highest win rate item with Hyper Fangs would be a Last Whisper. I can't tell you the reason why. I just look at the stats and for whatever reason, Last Whisper with Hyper Fangs is just super high together. If you can't build Last Whisper, you can always build a Rune's Hurricane, which is also really good with Hyper Fangs. Since it does a lot of damage, you can just AoE with Rune's Hurricane. And then after that, it's just the basic AD items like Giant Slayer, Gunblade. If you have it, you can do double Gwinsu's Rage Blade with Hyper Fangs, but it's not the best, but it gets the job done. As of we all know, the best in slot in general is Gwinsu's Rage Blade with Holobow and post stabilizer. If it's not post stabilizer, then it'll be IE. Those are the best combinations to build. And for those of you that's wondering, why not have post stabilizer as one of the main items? The main reason why is it doesn't have a high win rate. It's better as like a third item than it is like a secondary item after Rage Blade. So that's kind of the reason why I'm not showing any of the post stabilizer loadouts, since it's not a really good main Exotech item. Also, the big thing to note is that artifact items are not good on Zeri. They all have like under a 45% top 4 rate. So that means that if you have an artifact that's meant for AD, just skip it. Look for a tank one, or at worst, maybe an AP one. Like example, Resin Focus on Vars is actually really good if you're playing Vars on the board, since it allows him to almost delete tanks. For your tank Exotech items, you can always build like the base tank items, such as these you see here. And the good artifact ones is like Light Shield Crest or Mogomel or even Innervating Locket. They're all good as well. But the best combinations is Mordekaiser would probably your main tank at the beginning, since Sejuani 2 is heavily contested. So for his best item is the Exotech item. Corrupted Chassis is the best one to take on him because you can build Unending Despair. These two items together is really strong combinations. You'll do a lot of damage and he'll just be super tanky. If not, you can always build shield items such as Crown Guard or even Protector's Vow. The reason why these two are so important for Corrupted Chassis is because what this item does, it increases your shields even more. So having shield items is just super powerful. And in general, Steadfast Heart is just one of the best items for Mordekaiser because he has a shield in his kit, and if you have Steadfast Heart with a unit that has a shield on them, they'll take less damage. The second best one you could put on Mordekaiser is Repulsor Lantern. This item is just pretty decent overall. It's just free HP and free damage. The best combinations with it would be with a Crown Guard to a Steadfast Heart, then a Redemption, or an Even Shroud. I probably should have explained this before I explained all that. Left to right is like the best ones. So Crown Guard is the first best, and then Steadfast is the second best. Exotech item, the best one to take is Repulsor Lantern. So it's the opposite from Mordekaiser, where Corrupted Chassis is like the best one on him. But for Sejuani's case, her best item hands down is like any tank item with mana. And win rate wise, Protector's Vow is like the best item on Sejuani. It gives her everything she needs, from having extra shield, from extra defenses, and on top of that, those extra defenses will increase her defenses even more because her passive increases extra defenses. So that's why this item is just so powerful for her. Second to that, it will be Anima Visage. any health regen on Sejuani and any extra HP is super powerful for her. Same thing like Redemption. Instead, Fast Heart is pretty decent overall. For Corrupted Chassis, is her second best Exotech item. Like Protector's Vow earlier, the best first item you can build on her would be Protector's Vow with Corrupted Chassis, and then next to that, it would be Steadfast Heart, then after that, it'll be Anima Visage. The reason why Steadfast is higher win rate than it is with Anima Visage is because, like I said earlier with the Mordekaiser thing, any unit that has a shield and you put Steadfast on top of that, it'll just make them even tankier. So that's the reason why this has a higher win rate than Anima Visage. And then next to that, it'll be Redemption. If you see Cyber Coil as your 7 Exotech item, so basically the third item of Exotech, this item is just worthless. It's not worth to go for, you might as well just play 5 Exo. But if you have this as your first or second Exotech and you have Holobow in it, it's fine to take it because it's just a free tank item overall, but the value of this item is not drastically good as the other two, Repulsor Lantern and Corrupted Chassis. The best opener you can do is Jin with the Zeri item holder, which is the first item slam should be Gwynsu's Rageblade, and then you just play the Exotech units such as Neferi and Jax, and since Jax is a Bastion unit, you can just throw in Poppy. This is generally the opener I would do. If not, I'll do a natural opener. I'll show more openers later after the slide. If you're playing for 5 Exo at level 8, the style you can do is these are the base units that you see here, and for the +1s, you can do either like a Renekton with a Kabuko, or if you can't do Kabuko, you can do Gragas, or if you can't do Renekton, you can do Shyvana. That's fine as well for the budget version. Unless you have a Renekton, you can probably throw in Aurora, or same thing, if you can't find Renekton, you can do Shyvana as well. Either one's fine. If you can do Viego, you might as well throw in a Jax if you can't find Renekton. But if you do throw in a Jax though, you can just take out one Exotech unit, for example, like Neferi, since you're gonna have 6 Exotech at that point. Same thing with Vex and Varus, that also works. Just take out Neferi, and then you can play 5 Exo with a Vex. That's if you have a lot of tiers, then this style might be worth it. Any version that uses a Gragas or Aurora, you can use Zac as well, because you're not losing out much synergies compared to like not having a Bastion because you need it for Sejuani, like Renekton and Shyvana, like you need the Bastion unit in. If you don't want to be big brain and you just want to play default, you can easily just play 7 Exotech. That's fine as well. As long as Holobow is in the pool of Exotech items, you can just play all this and this would be fine. Then at level 9, you throw in +1 unit, like Aurora would be the best, because he could technically throw in a +2 because of her. Or Zac is also fine if you get him level 2, or even Garen's okay. Kabuko is okay as well. Viego is very powerful, since, you know, Viego is Viego. If you want to throw in budget versions, you can throw in Gragas or Shyvana, either one's fine. And the tip I can give you is, if the 7 Exotech item is really bad, like for example, if it's Cyber Coil, or if it's Flux Capacitator when you have Holobow already, then you can just play for 5 Exotech instead, with value units. If not, you can just throw that extra item on anyone that has a slot if you want to play 7 no matter what. The best emblems you could choose for this comp would be around a Divinity Corp or an Exotech emblem. If you do decide to get Exotech emblem, the tip I can give you here is play over Renekton. It's super powerful. Now for the team builder segment, so you guys have a better visual. Other openers you can do, besides the one I showed on slides, it's like a Kindred, and the first item you should slam is a Gwynsu's Rageblade for Zeri no matter what. So we're going to represent this as Zeri items. Then you can play for Nitro opener, like example Nidalee and Shyvana. From here, you can play a +1 unit, like for example a Jax, so you can get Bastion on the board, or you can mix and match with it, like you can throw in maybe a Kog'Maw instead for that rapid fire. Either one works. Or you can throw in a Jin instead. It's just whatever you can find, mix and match with Nitro. Another opener you can do would be to have a Kog'Maw opener, and hopefully you get that Gwynsu's Rageblade, super powerful on him. You'll be win streaking with him. Throw in a +1 rapid fire unit like Kindred, and then since Kog'Maw is a boom bot, you kind of want a Stunner on the board, and I would say Vi is the best budget Vanguard tank you can have in this current meta. So this opener is also pretty good as well, and then just play your strongest board from here for fast 8. Another opener that you can play pretty flexible with is Vayne, and if you have a Gwynsu's Rageblade, most of the time from here you can play Vayne reroll. Unless you have Holobow in your Exotech pool, then maybe you can consider pivoting into Zeri. Either one works. The reason why you would pivot off is unless like 2 or more people are playing Vayne for whatever reason, or if one other person is doing it, then you can think about maybe playing into Zeri. But it's up to you, whichever one you want. But this style could be either consist of the Slayer opener with Mundo, Alistair, +1, like example, Shaco, doesn't really matter. Or if you're lucky enough, maybe you might get a Senna with it. It's just whatever +1 unit, it's just these 3 and then whatever you can find. Or instead of playing the Slayer route, you can also do an Anima squad route with Seraphine, a Silas, and a Vi. Either one works. If it's not Seraphine, you can do Alawi instead as well. That's also fine. Or vice versa. If you cannot do Silas, you can do Seraphine plus a level 2 Bastion, such as maybe Jax, because you could pivot into it later, and this works as well. Another opener I can briefly talk about here is any of these Cypher units, so you can play Loose Streak and gain a lot of resources, which is these units here. Just play these units and then Loose Streak all the way until stage 3-7, and then just cash out. then pivot into your Exotech board. And then to show the default opener from here, most of the time I like to do a Jin with a Guinzu's Rage Blade. Hopefully you get a Neferi, and then a Poppy with a Jax. The reason why I like this opener, because for example, we can probably get maybe a pulse stabilizer to start with. This is actually really good for early game on Jin. It's a very powerful item on him. Unless you start with Corrupted Chassis, that also works too. It doesn't really matter. It's just as long as it's any of these items you see here, like Holobow, pulse stabilizer, Corrupted Chassis, or Repulsor Lantern, they're really good to start with. The other ones, they're kind of trash. It's better just playing better openers. But for this example, we're just going to show it as Corrupted Chassis. And then from here, at level 5, I like to play a Kindred because you get Marksman in with Jin. Then at level 6, whatever value units I can find to help me power up my board. Like maybe for example, I find a Senna, because it will give me Divinity Corp to gain more AD on the board, or you can just throw in like a Yuumi or something. It doesn't really matter. Yuumi gives you amp with Neferi, and it allows her to gain more mana regen, so she keeps shooting her ability. And then at level 7, you don't stay for too long anyways, so most of the time you might find maybe a Mordekaiser bad in. That works as well. And then level 8, you play the real board. The style I'm gonna show here first is the 5 Exotech route, meaning you don't want the 3rd Exotech item, maybe because it's Flux Capacitator or maybe Cyber Coil. And then for that board, it would be to have a Sejuani, and hopefully whatever good tank ones like Repulsor Lantern or the Corrupted Chassis you see here. Either one works. Take out the Poppy, take out the Yuumi. Then we just throw in a Zeri, transfer the carry items to Zeri. And this example, we have to show it with Holobow because it's her best item. So we're going to show it as Holobow because you're going to have to play it like this. To guarantee BIS, it will look like this. So you have to play these items no matter what, unless it's like the different styles I showed earlier. And then we don't really use Jax for this example. And then from here, our synergy is 5 Exotech, 2 Marksman, and 2 Rapid Fire. So if this is the example of the item that you have, Holobow with +1 tank, then you can flex around with many different units. Like for example, you can throw in a Shyvana, you get Bastion, and you also get Teki for Mordekaiser. And then from here you can throw in a +1 anything. Like if you want to do super budget, you can do Gragas because you get Bruiser, you also get the Vinicorp. Or if you want to go heavier, for example, maybe you might find a Renekton. You can use Renekton over the Shyvana. That also works as well. Or if you want to go like better legendaries, maybe you might find a Viego. You still get that Teki in, and you get a +1 Golem. Or maybe you might find a Kabuko, so you don't have Golem anymore. This also works. You get Bruiser. Or maybe you might get an Aurora, and then you pivot a +1 unit on your bench, like a powerful one, maybe a Zac or something. This also works as well. Speaking of Zac, you can also do Zac instead of Aurora. So you can just mix and match with whatever units that's shown on slides for 5 Exotech. It doesn't really matter. The big one I can show here is besides Neferi, you can play around with the Jax again. If you can't find Renekton, then you can throw in like a Zac or something. This also works as well. And then you throw in an Aurora. So this board is also pretty strong as well. Or you could play maybe into a Vex and Vars version where you have Vex and take out the Jin for Vars. This also works as well. And he's throwing a +1 tank like Gragas. This version is pretty decent as well. It can probably last you pretty well. Another budget version you can also do besides Vex could be like MF and then just trade out the Vars for a Jin. So this also works too. And then plus whatever you can find for legendary, like maybe it could be instead of Gragas, it can probably be a Zac, a Viego, or Kabuko. It's just whatever you can find, right? It's just easier to have a Gragas too. If you don't care or you want to be lazy about it, you can just easily play 7 Exotech. That's also fine as well. So instead of Misfortune and Gragas, it's just all the Exotech unit like Varus and Neferi. And the reason why you probably want to do this is unless you get 2 of the best tank items like Corrupted Chassis, you can throw it on Mordekaiser. And if you get Repulsor Lantern, you can throw it on Sejuani. This is great combinations as well. Or maybe you might just have Repulsor Lantern or Corrupted Chassis, whatever tank one, with a pulse stabilizer. This works as well. So these are like the 2 reasons why you would want to play 7. Unless you just don't care and you just want to like turn off your brain and play it no matter what, even if the items are bad, just Holobow is the only thing you need. That's okay as well. I've actually won a lot of games just by doing that, just by forcing 7 Exotech without even thinking about the other items because I'm just lazy. It's not the best way of doing it, but this comp is just that broken where just Holobow is the only thing you have to worry about. And then for positioning, well, this is what I like to do. I like to put Jin in the middle, Vars in the corner, and then Kindred up here. The reason why is because this allows Zeri to like cast her ability just moving around like this, so there's nothing in her way. So having at least just 2 units in the back would help a lot for Zeri to not grieve herself so she doesn't die as easy. And for those of you that always worries about Zed, just position like this. This means that when Zed is like positioned over here to jump your Zeri, he would be over here and either attack Kindred or Zeri, or if you're lucky enough, he'd probably be on Jin like this. Either one is fine. But if you're really worried about Zed, this positioning is fine. If not, then it's fine. And then at level 9, legit, it's just Thorn Aurora. That's simple. This is what I do every game. It's pretty simple and pretty brain dead. Another positioning advice I have to give you is you have to position Sejuani either this way or this way. The reason why is because if the enemy carry is on this corner, then putting Sejuani on this side or this side is the best way of stopping them. If the enemy carry is on the left corner, then you want to put Sejuani either on this side or this side. So yeah, that's a tip I can give you guys about positioning for Seg. Unless you really want to be lazy, like sometimes I do, I just put it in the middle and then just hopefully you power through. The augments you want to auto click, meaning if you see it, just take it, is Exotech Crest. Having an emblem allows you to drop one Exotech unit for a value unit. Like for example, you can trade out Jax for Renekton and just put emblem or Renekton to power up your board, or just take out Neferi or Vars to throw in a value unit. Either one's fine. Cyberdeck and Trial Run are like the best Exotech augments overall. It's super powerful. It makes you either have more Exotech items or you just have a golem with Exotech items on it. Pumping up is really great for Zeri because more attack speed you have on the board, the better for her. And Trait Tractor is very good because for one, you can probably get Exotech emblem as well, or you can get other stuff like Bruiser Emblem, Techie Emblem, Bastion Emblem, like extra synergies that helps the board. If you want to play Trait Tractor, you have to do it like this, where these are the best units to use it. The main reason why is because you're going to use Jax, Kindred, Jhin, and Mordekaiser anyways, and the other 3 units you can throw in is Gragas, Elise, and Shyvana, because this allows you to get 8 traits, and you need 8 traits to pop this augment. So if you're going to pick up this augment, these are the units that you have to play for 1 turn, and you're probably going to lose with it, but it's fine. Like, you have to do it so you can gain extra emblems to win the game. Other good augments you can choose could be like Component Buffet to BIS your items, or Big Grab Bag to gain more components, or Caretaker's Favor, which is similar to Component Buffet. If you want to power up the board even more, Belt Overflow is very powerful if you don't have any tank items. You can just make 2 Warmongs on the board, or just use belts for whatever. Raining Gold is just for Econ Augment, you know, gives you gold and allows you to roll for later. Piercing Lotus is a very good one for Zeri. If you're gonna play Holobow, this augment in general just powers up her even more. Spirit Link and Noble Sacrifice are just really good combat augments for the current meta. The augment power order I like to do is Econ first, like Raining Gold for example, so I can like fast 8. If not, I do item if I don't get econ, or if not, then I do combat. The 2 playstyles I can give you guys is high tempo fast 8. This means to win streak, so you can gain a lot of gold and save a lot of HP. In order to do that is at stage 2-1, you level to 4, play your strongest board. At stage 2-3, make intervals of 10 gold, 10, 20, 30 gold. If you don't, you'll be poor for the rest of the game. Unless you have around like 14 gold, 24 gold, 34 gold, they could pre-level to 5, which will look something like this. The main reason why I like to do this is because after carousel round, when you come back, you're level 5, you have a 2% chance to get Zeri in your level 5 shop. If not, you can skip this part if you don't want to do it, because on stage 2-4, you hit level 5 anyways, so it doesn't even matter. And stage 2-6 or 2-5, try to make intervals again of like 10 gold, like 10, 20, 30, 40 gold, so you can stay rich to roll for your board later. Stage 3-2, hit level 6 to stay in tempo, so you can save HP. Stage 3-7, or even earlier, you can hit level 7. And in stage 4-2 or 4-1, honestly, if you're around like Emerald or higher, you should do this at 4-1 instead and level to 8 and then roll for your board if you have enough econ for it. If you don't have more than like 30 gold to roll with to hit level 8, for 1, you're kind of doing something wrong, and 2, you need around that much gold to roll for your board if you can hit it all. For everyone's favorite playstyle for whatever reason is the lose streak style to fast 8. So how you do that is you just don't level at all, always make intervals of 10 gold as much as you can, like 20, 30, 40 gold during Krug rounds, which is around stage 2-6. If you're too weak, you can level to 5 to at least beat the creep round, because if you don't beat it, then you're gonna be so behind for the rest of the game. At stage 3-2, hit level 6, and you might have to roll like 10 gold for at least level 2s or better units on the board if needed, so you can stop the bleeding. You can still try to lose streak, just don't lose too hard or else you'll be dead too quick. And then stage 3-7, hit level 7, or you could do this earlier. Stage 4-2, or like I said earlier with the whole emerald thing or higher, at 4-1, you should hit level 8 and roll for your units before anyone else takes it. And that is it for the Holobow style of Zeri Exotech. If you have any questions about the comp, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Also, if there's a new way of playing Zeri, I'll try to make a video as fast as I can about it later. I just have to play more games just to understand it, but now I fully understand it. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.